Good morning. Happy Monday. I hope you're having a nice week. I wanted to go live today to talk a little bit about family systems. So, last week in a smaller group I did a Zoom with some moms and we talked about, I did a 3-day masterclass. And so, there was some confusion about where it would be. So, I wanted to repeat some of it in here so you could see it and see how it went and see if you could get anything from it also because I wanted to make sure I got all of your questions answered and make it for a bigger audience because we had such a small group. I wanted to make sure you guys were able to see it too and ask me questions because I had so many questions about where it was and I missed it or whatever. So today I wanted to go ahead and do part of it again. So today what we're going to really focus on is the family systems part. And so you're probably wondering exactly what that means. And I'm going to explain that to you. And so part of the reason why is I feel like if you can understand why your family works in the way it does, it will help you to become more empathetic, more understanding. It'll help you just get your family better and then hopefully be able to help them more whenever you're struggling or it's chaos in your house and you don't know what to do. You can kind of think back to this slideshow or this, not slideshow, but this live about what we talked about. So I first became interested in this when I was in graduate school. I went to school. I got a master's in school counseling. So I was a school counselor for years. I knew that was not a good fit for me. And so I ended up going back and getting another added on master's in family therapy. And so what I found so fascinating was how the family system works. And it has taught me just so much about me personally and helped me understand why I am the way I am. And then everybody else. And it just helps me be a little more understanding and empathetic. Sometimes I'm not always empathetic, but I do try. That's one of my weaknesses. And so I wanted to pass it on in a way that hopefully will be helpful for you. And so it'll take just a few minutes. It's not going to take a long time. And I don't want you to like overwhelm you with anything, but I'm going to show you one of the slides that we did last week. So let me put that up really quick for you. Okay. So you probably can see this. It's a family as a system. And so when you think of a system, we have computer systems, we have our economic system, there's a system in a car, and all of it works together, right? And so the more complicated the system is, the more parts that are moving, the more things can go wrong. So like with a new car, it has all these computer chips, right? And so maybe one of the chips isn't working, and so it might interfere with something else. And the family is sort of like this, right? So you have so many different people and so many different pieces working in a family that sometimes it's hard for everything to run smoothly because we all have our own experiences from the past, from the present. We have our families from before, if you're an adult, and you have your nuclear family from when you were a kid. And now you have your own family and your child's growing up in it. So this is a new system, but you're still part of that other system. And sometimes that other system interferes with your system, right? Which makes it complicated and makes it hard to work sometimes, right? So what is interesting is then say your family, you're married and you get divorced. Now you have two different systems that have to work together. And it makes things really complicated sometimes. So I guess the biggest thing I want you to know from this is to give yourself grace, right? And know that if it's not running smoothly, if things are really tough, there's a reason for that. It's because you have so many working parts trying to work together and it becomes very complicated. So if you look at this slide, there's a definition. I'm going to read this definition to you because I do think it's pretty powerful because it explains it pretty intently. So it's like, this comes from a theory called the family systems theory. It's a theory of human behavior that defines the family as a unit, as a complex social system in which members interact to influence each other's behavior. So everybody's interacting, which then everybody's behavior interacts with each other. Family members interconnect, allowing to view the system as a whole rather than individual elements. So when you start getting everyone interacting together, especially if you have any type of things in the family that might be complicated, like a divorce, mental illness, addiction, substance abuse, any of that is going to really impact the system. Trauma, right? Trauma is a big one. All of us have had some sort of trauma, depending on how much it's impacted you individually, is everyone's thing, right? So all of us have had it impact us somehow. And so that is going to impact the family system. So basically, we're all working the best way we can in this system. No one's doing anything on purpose. No one is trying to make your life miserable. They're just working from a place of trauma, addiction, mental illness, whatever it is. And so, really, what you can do as the mom or as the person in the home is, once you know this, just think about it, right? Think about it. There's nothing really you need to do. It's just being aware that this is a system we're working in. It could be more complicated than other systems of families that you know, and there's probably a reason why. And so just think about what that why could be. And then through that, you might be able to reach out for more resources once you kind of figure out what it is that your family needs. So that was one of the things that we talked about last week when I did that masterclass. There is a workbook that I have that goes along with this. So if you're interested, just send me your email and I'll send it to you. And it goes over all 3 days of the masterclass. And tomorrow I'm actually going to hit on day 2. I'm going to do a sample of that so you can get a little bit of that too, so you can see what some of the main points were and some of the things that we talked about in day 2. Because I do want to make sure that you're able to get what we did talk about. And day 2 was talking about time. We talked about time management, how to do it effectively, why it's important to have time management. So we'll go over that a little bit tomorrow also. If you do have any other questions about family systems or want some insight or some support, let me know, because that's why I'm here. I want to work with you. I want to work with you individually. I want to work with you as a family to help it run smoother. So anyway, I hope you have a great day. Enjoy the week. It's still summer, which I love. We went on a trip this past weekend. I was with Jose, just the 2 of us, and we went to Arizona. And Arizona is beautiful, but in this summer, it's very hot. So I do want to go back, but I would love to go back in a time when it is not so hot. So I hope you did something fun last weekend. I hope you have something planned this coming weekend that's fun for your family. And as always, have a great week, and we'll see you soon. Bye.